Last night at Lincoln Financial Field, what was supposed to be an evening of celebration and connection between the Philadelphia Eagles and their fans took an unexpectedly tense turn. The Eagles hosted their only open training camp practice of the summer, and, as always, the passion of the fan base was on full display. The stadium was sold out. Yes, sold out for practice, with thousands of people filling the stands, singing, cheering, and soaking in the atmosphere. For the players, it was an energizing experience, a reminder of why they put in so many hours during the offseason. The session was lively, filled with sharp plays and plenty of moments that had the crowd roaring. But then, late in the practice, the energy shifted in an instant. Landon Dickerson, the Pro Bowl left guard and one of the anchors of the Eagles' dominant offensive line, went down during team drills. Almost immediately, you could sense the change in mood. What had been the highest of highs quickly turned into concern and quiet murmurs. Teammates rushed over. Coaches waved for medical staff. Before long, Dickerson was being carted off the field. For a team with Super Bowl aspirations, the sight of one of their most important linemen leaving the field in that fashion was gut-wrenching. In the NFL, injuries can happen in a flash, and often the first visual tells the story. This one did not look good. In the hours following the injury, speculation ran wild. By the time most fans went to bed, there was still no official update. Social media was flooded with slow-motion replays of the incident, and, as always, the so-called Twitter doctors chimed in, guessing everything from a torn ACL to a ruptured Achilles. These are the moments when a fan base collectively holds its breath. The Eagles have been in this situation before, losing a key player in the lead-up to a big season, and history has shown that it can derail even the most talented rosters. When you think about what Dickerson means to this team, both on and off the field, the stakes couldn't be higher. The first official word came early Monday morning when Adam Schefter reported that Dickerson would be undergoing an MRI on his knee. That piece of news immediately narrowed the possibilities and, importantly, ruled out the feared Achilles tear. Still, knee injuries cover a wide range of outcomes, from a few weeks' rest to season-ending surgery. Soon after, a second update confirmed that the injury involved the meniscus in his right knee. That was an important distinction because a meniscus injury can vary in severity. In some cases, it can sideline a player for months. In others, a quick procedure can have them back on the field within weeks. By mid-afternoon Monday, Eagles fans finally got the update they had been desperately hoping for. Dickerson's injury was classified as week-to-week, with plans for what was described as a minor procedure on the meniscus. The target return date? The season opener on Thursday, September 4th, against the Dallas Cowboys. For the Eagles, this was the definition of dodging a bullet. The initial scene on Sunday night looked like the type of injury that could cost a player an entire year. Instead, there's a realistic chance that Dickerson won't miss any regular season games at all. The relief within the organization was palpable, not just because of Dickerson's talent, but because of his role as a leader. Since entering the league as a second-round pick out of Alabama, Dickerson has developed into one of the best guards in football. His presence on the left side of the line is a big reason why the Eagles' offense has been so effective, particularly in the run game. He's been instrumental in the success of Saquon Barkley's ground attack and in the infamous tush-push quarterback sneak that has become almost unstoppable. The numbers from last season back up his elite play. An overall Pro Football Focus grade of 79.2, ranking 13th among over 130 guards, with a run-blocking grade of 79.7, good for 12th in the league. But Dickerson's value isn't just measured in stats. He's become one of the emotional leaders of the team, especially with longtime veterans like Jason Kelce, Fletcher Cox, and Brandon Graham retiring. Dickerson has stepped into that void, often seen giving fiery pre-game speeches to rally the offensive line and the offense as a whole. His leadership has been part of what makes the Eagles' locker room culture so strong, a culture that head coach Nick Sirianni has worked hard to maintain. That's why losing him, even for a few games, would be a significant blow. The Eagles' offensive line is the foundation of their success. Yes, they have stars like Jalen Hurts, Saquon Barkley, A.J. Brown, and Devonta Smith, but everything starts up front. This line gives Hurts time to throw, opens massive lanes for Barkley and dominates the line of scrimmage in a way few teams can match. Removing a key piece like Dickerson would not only weaken the unit physically, but could impact the chemistry that has been built over years of playing together. That's why the reaction from fans and teammates on Sunday night was so strong. They understood exactly what was at stake. It's also worth noting that Dickerson has a history of knee issues, which is part of why Sunday's injury set off alarm bells. During his college career, he tore the ACL in both knees, one while at Florida State and the other after transferring to Alabama. Despite that injury history, the Eagles believed in his talent enough to make him, at the time, the highest-paid guard in the league with a contract averaging $21 million per year. That investment has paid off on the field, but it also adds another layer of concern whenever he goes down. In the immediate aftermath of the injury, the conversation naturally turned to what the Eagles might do if Dickerson was out for an extended period. They have some in-house options, such as moving Kenyon Green to left guard or sliding Tyler Steen over from another spot on the line. Brett Toth, Drew Kendall, and Trevor Keegan are other internal candidates, though none bring the same combination of talent and experience as Dickerson. The team could also explore external options like veteran Brandon Scherf, but given the latest diagnosis, those scenarios are more contingency planning than necessity. For now, the focus will be on Dickerson's recovery and readiness for Week 1. Given the timing of the injury and the relatively minor nature of the procedure, there's reason to be optimistic. Eagles fans have seen enough seasons derailed by injuries to know that getting good news in August is not something to take for granted. This time, the football gods might have given them a break. And while Sunday Night Scare served as a reminder of how quickly fortunes can change in the NFL, it also reinforced the depth of connection between this team and its city. The crowd that packed Lincoln Financial Field wasn't just there for entertainment. They were there because they feel part of something bigger. That's what made the silence so heavy when Dickerson went down, and what made the sigh of relief on Monday afternoon so sweet. The Eagles avoided the worst-case scenario, and their quest for another Lombardi trophy remains right on track. When the dust settled and the relief started to sink in, the conversation in Philadelphia quickly shifted from panic mode to preparation mode. This team has a championship window wide open, and one of the defining characteristics of championship-caliber rosters is how they respond to adversity, even if that adversity turns out to be a brief scare rather than a season-ending crisis. Landon Dickerson's situation is exactly the kind of moment that tests the infrastructure of an organization. It forces coaches, trainers, and even players to think ahead, make contingency plans, and keep the machine moving without letting a single moment of uncertainty derail the focus on the bigger picture. Inside the Eagles facility, the training staff will now work closely with Dickerson to map out a recovery program that threads the needle between caution and urgency. Week 1 against Dallas isn't just another game. It's a primetime matchup against a divisional rival, in front of a national audience, with the energy of a banner-raising ceremony setting the tone for the season. The temptation to rush back will be strong, especially for a competitor like Dickerson, who takes pride in being available and setting the tone for his teammates. But the Eagles also know that the offensive line is a marathon position group. Losing him for 2 or 3 games in September is far better than risking a setback that costs him November, December, and potentially the postseason. Nick Sirianni's challenge over the next few weeks will be balancing those priorities. The head coach has never been shy about leaning on the culture he and his staff have built, and this is where that culture gets put to the test. Veteran players understand the next man up philosophy, but in the trenches, replacing someone like Dickerson isn't as simple as plugging in a backup. His footwork, communication, and chemistry with Jordan Mailata on the left side are the product of years of reps together. It's not just about physical ability, it's about anticipating what the guy next to you is going to do without having to say a word. That's why any replacement, whether it's Green, Steen, or someone else, will need extra reps in practice to at least mimic some of that continuity. From a schematic standpoint, offensive coordinator Kellen Moore will need to keep the run game flexible. With Dickerson in the lineup, the Eagles can run their bread-and-butter inside zone and power schemes with complete confidence. Without him, they might lean a little more on quick passes, misdirection, and perimeter runs to keep defenses from attacking the interior too aggressively. The Eagles' passing game has more than enough firepower to handle that shift. Jalen Hurts has weapons everywhere, from A.J. Brown and Devonta Smith to tight end Dallas Goedert, and the addition of Saquon Barkley gives them a dynamic check down and screen option. But make no mistake, even in the modern NFL, the ability to control the line of scrimmage is what separates good teams from great ones, and Dickerson is central to that identity. It's also worth considering what this episode says about the mental resilience of the team. In past seasons, a late camp injury to a key starter has sometimes hung like a dark cloud over the locker room, affecting the confidence and energy of the group. But the vibe this time is different. The veterans know the season is long and full of challenges. They've experienced playoff runs, heartbreaks, and comebacks. They've played through injuries, weathered mid-season slumps, and fought their way into January football. The younger players, meanwhile, are learning in real time what it means to stay locked in when a teammate goes down. One of the more underrated aspects of Dickerson's absence, however brief it may be, is how it accelerates the development of depth players. Someone like Tyler Steen might be a year away from being a regular starter, but if he's thrown into the fire for a week or two, he gets invaluable experience that can pay off later in the season. The same goes for Kenyon Green, a former first-round pick whose career hasn't lived up to expectations yet. Sometimes, all a player needs is the right coaching and a specific situation to unlock his potential. Jeff Stoutland, the Eagles' legendary offensive line coach, has made a career out of maximizing talent. If anyone can get an inexperienced or underperforming player ready to hold the line against a top-tier opponent, it's Stoutland. Meanwhile, the front office, led by Howie Roseman, will keep one eye on the waiver wire and the other on potential trade opportunities. While it's unlikely they make a move with the expectation of Dickerson returning soon, Roseman's history shows he's never complacent. If there's a chance to add a veteran insurance policy for the right price, he'll at least explore it. This is the kind of forward-thinking approach that has kept the Eagles among the league's elite over the past several years. There's also the psychological boost of knowing that this story didn't end with a devastating diagnosis. Players feed off energy, and when your teammate avoids a season-ending injury, it reinforces a sense of momentum heading into the season. The locker room's reaction on Monday afternoon was night and day compared to the hushed tones of Sunday night. Smiles replaced furrowed brows, and the conversations shifted back to football rather than injury timelines. As for Dickerson himself, he'll face the challenge that all injured athletes do, the frustration of being sidelined while the team practices and prepares. But even while rehabbing, he can still have an impact. Expect him to be in the ear of whichever lineman steps into his spot, offering tips, pointing out defensive tendencies, and helping maintain the high standard the Eagles' line is known for. Leadership doesn't vanish when you take off the helmet. The timing of this situation is important, too. Training camp is still in full swing, and the Eagles have a few preseason games left. That gives the coaching staff live reps to evaluate potential replacements in a game environment. It also gives Dickerson a runway to recover without rushing. If this had happened in Week 8, the context would be entirely different. The team would be in the middle of the playoff push, and finding an in-season solution is always tougher. In August, there's time to adapt. And then there's the added emotional layer of who the Week 1 opponent is. The Dallas Cowboys are not just another team. They're the franchise's biggest rival, the one game every Eagles fan circles on the calendar. To have that matchup be the season opener on a Thursday night while raising a Super Bowl banner is the kind of stage players dream about. Before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep delivering the latest updates on our Philadelphia Eagles. And don't be shy. Share your thoughts on the news in the comments below. Whispers are beginning to circulate around the NFL landscape as JIHAAD Campbell, the promising defensive end who was once heralded as a key addition to the Philadelphia Eagles roster, reportedly expressed regret over his decision to join the team. While no official statement has been released, insiders close to the player suggest that Campbell has privately voiced second thoughts about his move. This revelation is fueling speculation about potential unrest or dissatisfaction lurking beneath the surface of what was initially perceived as a seamless fit. The Eagles, who invested considerable draft capital and resources to secure Campbell, now find themselves at the center of swirling rumors questioning the long-term viability of this partnership. Industry analysts and fans alike are left pondering the implications of such sentiments, wondering if this could foreshadow a shift in the player's commitment or performance. The nature of professional sports is fraught with uncertainty, but when a talent of Campbell's stature expresses any form of regret, it invariably sparks intense debate regarding the factors contributing to this mindset. Could it be the coaching approach, locker room dynamics, or perhaps unmet expectations that are prompting these feelings? While nothing has been confirmed, the buzz around Campbell's apparent remorse is hard to ignore, casting a shadow of doubt over his future with the Eagles. The roots of this potential regret seem to stem from an array of unspoken challenges faced by Campbell since his arrival in Philadelphia. Sources hint that the transition has not been as smooth as initially anticipated, possibly due to a misalignment between the player's style and the team's defensive schemes. The Eagles, known for their complex and demanding playbook, may have unintentionally placed Campbell in a role that does not fully leverage his strengths, leading to frustration. Moreover, whispers from within the organization suggest that the expectations placed on Campbell were exceptionally high, given his draft pedigree and preseason hype. Such pressure can weigh heavily on a young player adapting to the professional ranks. Compounding this are murmurs about locker room chemistry, with some insiders speculating that Campbell may not have fully integrated into the team culture, further isolating him. All these factors combined could be contributing to his reported regrets about the move. While the Eagles remain tight-lipped, the undercurrent of dissatisfaction appears real enough to stir questions about whether this is a temporary phase or indicative of deeper issues that might influence roster decisions down the line. Another angle fueling the rumor mill involves the role of the coaching staff in Campbell's experience with the Eagles. Reports hint at possible philosophical differences or a mismatch in communication styles between the defensive coordinator and the player, which might be exacerbating the situation. Coaching plays a critical role in a player's development and comfort level, and any discord here can translate into a sense of disillusionment. Campbell's skill set is highly regarded, but there are suggestions that the staff may not be utilizing him optimally or that the feedback loop essential for growth is not functioning smoothly. This scenario creates fertile ground for second-guessing and dissatisfaction, especially when combined with the fierce competitiveness of the NFL environment. Furthermore, the media spotlight on the Eagles and the intense fan expectations could be amplifying any internal struggles, adding another layer of stress for Campbell. While the Eagles' management has been proactive in maintaining team morale publicly, behind closed doors, there are whispers that addressing Campbell's concerns is becoming a priority. How this situation evolves could have ripple effects not only for Campbell's career trajectory, but also for the team's defensive strategy moving forward. Adding to the swirling speculation are discussions about potential trade talks or alternative pathways for Campbell within the league. Rumors suggest that other franchises have taken note of his talent and might be quietly gauging Philadelphia's openness to part ways. The idea of a trade is tantalizing for some teams looking to bolster their defensive line, especially if Campbell's reported dissatisfaction leads the Eagles to reconsider their roster composition. Meanwhile, the player himself could be weighing options, subtly signaling through his camp that a fresh start might be on the horizon if the current situation does not improve. In the high-stakes world of the NFL, such moves are often strategic, balancing immediate needs with long-term potential. Philadelphia's front office may be evaluating the best course of action, factoring in Campbell's value against the backdrop of team chemistry and future draft considerations. As this narrative develops, fans and commentators are watching closely for any signs of official moves or statements. The possibility of a mid-season shakeup involving Campbell is generating considerable buzz, highlighting the fragile nature of player-team relationships and the constant flux within professional football rosters. Ultimately, the story of JIHAAD Campbell and his rumored regret about joining the Eagles paints a picture of the complexities behind NFL careers that fans rarely see. It underscores how talent alone does not guarantee harmony or success, and how personal and professional dynamics intertwine in unpredictable ways. The Eagles, a franchise with high aspirations and a demanding environment, now face the challenge of navigating this delicate situation. Whether Campbell will overcome these hurdles and flourish or decide to seek opportunities elsewhere remains an open question. This scenario serves as a reminder that behind every athlete's public persona lies a multifaceted reality filled with doubts, adjustments, and sometimes regrets. As the season progresses, all eyes will remain on Campbell and the Eagles, waiting to see if this rumor will solidify into a major development or simply fade into the background noise of the NFL's ever-changing drama. The unfolding chapters of this story promise to be closely followed, not only by the team and its fans, but by the wider football community eager to see how this potential turning point plays out. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay updated with exclusive news about our Philadelphia Eagles, be sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that like button. We can't wait to hear your thoughts in the comments. See you in the next video.